What's going on, family? Welcome back to Israel's Movie Reviews. And today we're going to be talking about Morbius that just recently came out. And this movie, I'm not going to lie, just a few years ago, back in 2020, when the movie originally was supposed to come out, I was pretty excited for it. I was like, wow, a Morbius film within the Spider-Man universe. Sony's making it, so it's going to have some Venom connection. And I was disappointed. This movie, even though this is an early review, I'm not going to spoil anything, but this was 100% guilty of false advertising. Nothing you saw in the trailers regarding Spider-Man was in the movie. Everything else that you saw in the trailer was the movie. So disappointed. I'm not gonna put any plot details or any spoilers here because honestly, it's not even worth the mention. The basic setup, as depicted in the trailers and advertising in this film, is that Michael Morbius is a doctor in the Marvel Universe who's afflicted by a rare and gruesome blood disease, setting out to find a cure for himself. And that's basically what this movie becomes. He becomes a vampire and proceeds to go on his first few adventures, so to say. And it's in the same vicinity of Spider-Man. This is all the marketing material that appeared over the last 2 years in these commercials that they put out. And speaking of the trailer, there is zero connection to any of the Marvel Universe or movies, nor the MCU in this film. Essentially, everything you saw in the trailers does not exist in this movie, like at all. This studio executive meddling and false advertising, it's at its highest point. It's at its pinnacle. In terms of technical filmmaking, this is a mess. The action is a disaster. If you look back into this disastrous comic book territory, it's horrific. This movie is very comparable to the Fantastic Four, the original movie, X-Men's Origins, Wolverine, even Thor 2 in Green Lantern. Just very disappointing. It's just one messy eye CGI PG-13 movie. How can you make a Morbius movie with no blood? I don't know. It cuts to one scene to another. It's very chopped up. I don't know if the director, Daniel Espinosa, or the studio are to blame. However, given the fact that Tom Rothman, the perpetrator in chief of Sony, was also head of 20th Century Fox back when they were churning those horrific movies, those X-Men movies. And my money is that this disastrous production that is Morbius is to be blamed by him and his henchmen at Sony. Much like Venom, it seems like people are going to either love or hate this movie. The Sonyverse, it started off with a bang, with the Spider-Verse, with the 2 Venom movies. And this movie, aside from a few of the vampire transformations, I feel like the CG effects ranged from subtle to bombastic. For example, like his ear wiggling for like the echolocation was a pretty cool touch. And his high-speed waveforms, which tingled with bright colors from his clothing. He created, Daniel Espinosa, the director of this film, definitely created an atmosphere of dread and horror, but kept things within a PG rating, and I did not enjoy that. Even the post-credit scene, character last seen in Spider-Man Homecoming appeared in these closing end credits, hinting at a multiverse connection, but it didn't make sense at all. This is a standard run-of-the-mill, I'm not gonna say Marvel film, Sony film, with a mediocre script, lackluster direction. They failed to delve into the richly detailed character stories and arcs that Morbius has in the comics. Even Blade and Underworld did a way better job playing the anti-hero, which is no easy task. And Jared Leto proved it right. Jared Leto in this movie wasn't the problem. I feel. The problem was, being that this was his origin story, we wanted to see how Morbius meets his best friend, his brother. We wanted to see how he ended up with his wife. Man, this movie just was very disappointing. I give this movie definitely a 4 out of 10. Morbius, it's supposed to be an interesting character who didn't need a solo movie by any means, but we were very excited to get one, only to be presented properly though. Unfortunately, Sony again, they surprised themselves, even after they squandered so much opportunities with the Venom movies as well. And those movies made money, but I felt like they came short with the Venom universe as well in a way. Honestly, I don't have high hopes for the upcoming Craven movie, the Madam Web movie. The standard that they set in this film was very, very low. This film is very, very mediocre, and it feels like something straight from a 2006 movie with some nasty effects. And overall, this movie was just made to make money, honestly. And I'll be surprised if it does that. This was definitely a pity. This was a disgrace, not only to the universe, but to the character. Morbius deserved way much. He deserves way much. I saw him as kind of a character with edge. Come on, you have a man that's turning into a vampire, and he's in the Spider Universe. It's the stupidest thing that they did. And the scenes that you see in the trailer regarding the MCU, they kind of left it for a post-credit scene. I mean, the credit scenes, they're going to make you shake your head or make you laugh. There are many Marvel Legends, but not as quite as striking and engaging as this one. And they managed to fuck it up. Jared Leto brings his fierce character to life and shows he has more layers to him than usual. I liked him in this, believe it or not, more than I liked him in Joker. The iconic moment where Morbius says, "I'm Venom," it does happen in the film. Very funny. And for a minute, you do think he's Venom. Then he says, "Only joking, Dr. Morbius at your service." Those are comedic elements of the movie, which I did like. It was clever because it's not Venom, right? It's Morbius. And he made a reference to Venom in a subtle way just to remind the audience what the universe actually was. Matt Smith, the baddie of the movie, I felt like he had a ball in his character. He had this intensity, this insanity about him, that I liked. And it's weird and confusing. The camera work, the unrelatable characters, the soullessness and the generic quality they put in this movie. I was just pissed off to see it, honestly. It's sad to say, but what a pile of trash. It's another version of Venom with a subpar CGI and none of the carnage and decimation from the comics. There's a scene where he's discovering his powers in a train, which you see in the trailer. That was badass. But this movie definitely just stands alone on the name. Look, I'm just going to leave it at that. Don't be disappointed with Jared Leto. He did not fail us. I can tell you he was a good villain. But the truth is, he wasn't really a villain in this. He's not a villain. And I'll be surprised if we ever get to see him with Spider-Man in a film after this pile of shit. But yeah, go check it out for your convenience. But definitely I'm gonna stick to my guns. 4 out of 10. If you liked this review or didn't like this review, give me a like, give me a dislike. Unfortunately, share this video, and if you want more content from me in the future, man, all you gotta do is subscribe. Hopefully, I can give you a better review in the Sony universe for the next film. To the next one. Peace.